Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to yet another episode of the Bald and Bonkers Show. On Saturdays and Sundays, check every inch of the web to find the latest episodes. The boys are everywhere, and no matter what anyone may try, they are here to stay. If the name hasn't warned you yet, then consider this as your viewer discretion advised. No one can restrain these two idiots, so here they come unleashed upon the world, only to become as insane as reality itself.
Oh, you
whoa, Christopher!
You dick! You changed that back. You fucking bastard. He does this every fucking night. Change that back. Every bloody night. Honestly, Nando, Jen. See, honestly.
All the time. Yeah, we and Nando do the same thing. If I could change Nando now, I would.
I know. See, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined tonight by Jen and Nando. They are going to dive deep into the unknown. So I thought
diving deep may have not been the appropriate term to use, considering our conversations before we hit the.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Nando was telling us all about his fascination with probing in the alien community. I mean.
Yeah, we were talking about. Well, Chris, we were trying to talk about setting up the fundraiser to get Nando several big old 55-gallon barrels of lube, so he'd be prepared next time.
They sell big barrels of lube on Amazon, and I think we should maybe do like a fundraiser, get it delivered to your house, Amazon Prime there for you, and we pump at the top. Last year forever.
Quiet.
He's getting awfully excited.
Look at him. He's secretly like that. Get the rubber suit. It's going to be a great night next week.
Wait, then let me just message Sarah and get her ready.
See, it's all coming out. It's all coming out. Oh my God. Nando, what have you been doing? You would put some aliens to shame.
Nando's so quiet.
I know, he's so quiet.
I haven't heard him talk yet.
I don't know what to say now. I've got things about other things, but I don't want to bring it up in the show, so...
Well, we definitely need to add that to the online store for Bald and Bonkers. Approved lube by Nando.
Tried and tested.
Like that.
Oh my God!
So, Jen.
Yes, I'm being good. Now I'm afraid that you're saying my name.
Have you had any alien experiences in the last couple of weeks, or ever since you met the two of us?
Nothing. I don't think I have. Nothing.
Lucky bitch.
I know. Look at Nando. He's getting really tense.
Nando's quiet. I don't know. I've heard a lot of stuff and a lot of sightings here in Ireland. But apart from that, nothing. No, nothing has been knocking on my window.
Right. You know what that is?
Oh, God.
They've all been going to Nando's house late at night.
I know.
3 a.m.
Apparently.
I was wondering why I had that funny picture.
This is must be the most exciting thing that's ever happened to you, Nando.
Yeah, today, yeah.
Sorry, I can't help myself. You can get me back
one.
one.
Jenny now. Let's all send them to Jenny.
No, Jenny.
So, guys, how has your weekend been? What interesting things? He's even disappeared. He's way crying in the corner. Is that funny, you know? How have you been, Jenny? How's things been?
Busy. Getting up to a little devilment.
Aye. So, would you like to give your channel and that a quick shout out now, and then later on?
Yeah, I run Emerald Isle Paranormal Researchers team here in Ireland, and I run Shadow Whispers in the Night podcast.
Yes.
Or we say
there you
podcast.
go, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, tune in, give it a subscribe. You never know what you're going to hear on the show next.
That is so true.
The class went all quiet. It just went.
You two boys are worrying, actually.
What do you mean?
I'm the one that's worried. I'm worried about what's going to come out next.
I'm like in the Twilight Zone.
I told you you were in for an experience, didn't I?
I have a feeling something's going to happen.
What do you mean?
We have possibly planned for Nando.
Why is it Nando you're specifically aiming for there, Chris? Jen's much of a target here. We can't make her feel out of it.
That's the thing. I would feel really bad, Nando, So, guys, do you want to tell us a wee bit about your UFO experiences in the unknown? Jen, first. Because I know you've had experiences in this.
I think I've had experiences. Seeing things when I was younger. I was told they were aliens, and I think I mentioned it before, the 3 things I've seen in the sky, and they were smoky grey colour. They weren't white and they weren't completely grey, they were like a smoke colour. 3 of them in the sky. For about 2 hours they were there, and they were swimming in and out of each other, swimming up and down, crossing paths, and then they'd be on the opposite sides, 2 this side, 1 this side. No clouds in the sky, completely beautiful, clear night, November. And they were there for about 2 hours. They were there for about 2 hours, and one of them came shooting right down. There was a hedge across the road from where I live, and these were above an old unused factory. And one of them shot down. You could see it going through the bush, and shot right back up. The quickest thing I've ever seen. We were running inside the house, my house, and I had one guy pull me back so he could get in. So adults seen it. I was only a teenager at the time. Adults seen this. I spotted them in the sky first, and but I didn't see anything in the sky for me to say something. Something made me say it. Look, what's that up in the sky? When I was leaving my friend's home and seeing 3 things in the sky, I said it to my sister. She looked out the window, got us all indoors, closed the curtains. My mum was picked up from work. Nothing ever like that happened again. But if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I didn't think, I wouldn't believe it. And to this day, I'm trying to debunk it. I'm trying to think what else could it have been. And there's absolutely mind-boggling nothing I can debunk it with.
What year was that? When was that about?
It would have been in the 90s. That's showing my age now, isn't it?
Okay.
It would have been in the 90s, Nando. Shut up, Nando. What? I gave a little bit of my age away there. But
you don't
know what age. I think I could have been about 15. I could have been about 15. 14
it's quite interesting you say that, because one of my UFO things that I seen here in Scotland was it would be in the 90s. It would be probably 1998, 1999.
Really?
But then I was out. I'm obviously in a farming community. I was just up the top road there, and I can see the stars, and I seen one little dot coming towards me, and it stopped, and it turned into 2 dots, then 3 dots, then 4 dots, and they all started like dancing around each other.
Oh God!
And there was somebody else that witnessed it. My neighbour witnessed it. He walked up and he said, "Oh, look at that over there," and then they all shot up into one ball, and it went straight up.
I find it so fascinating. So fascinating.
That is fascinating.
Did you ever see anything like that again?
I've seen others. I've seen other strange things. I've seen one that's kind of like on its side, a kind of pyramid triangle shaped ones.
Aye.
The tape. I've seen them. I've seen the black triangles, but it was too far away, so I couldn't tell if it was human made or alien made. And I've seen other just strange things moving in the sky.
And do you know, even when I was younger, and gosh, I shed bunk beds in my room, and I was in the top bunk, and I was young to know not to look out my window at night, not to look up into the sky, because, and I said this before, and I stick by it, and I felt it at the time, that if I looked out the window, my mind would make them know I'm looking out, and then they would notice me, and then, like I said before, if I know that they're there, and they know I'm looking out my window,
Yeah.
They know I'm looking at them, and I know they're looking down. But I didn't know this. Maybe it was a child thing. I don't know.
See, that's quite interesting. What's your thoughts on that, Dakota? What is your thoughts on that?
It's not that weird, to be completely honest.
No.
Humans think too loud, according to them. They can easily tell what's on our mind, but it's not like they're sitting there trying to read your mind. It's for a lot of them, it's a lot like just everyday conversation, sitting with a person next to you. And yeah, they would be able to tell where it's coming from, because just the way there would be like a magnetic field to it, and can be often how you may be able to tell that you're not exactly looking at someone from this planet, is that the magnetic charge to their vibe just feels different. It's not necessarily bad, but if you can just tell that they ain't from around here.
And it's like if I think about them, then it's like a GPS. They spot exactly who's thinking or who's looking out at them. That's what I thought when I was younger. If I look out, say, looking at my window now, no, that frightened me there. If I looked out my window, I know, just what I said, I'm looking at my window, and that they would pinpoint, and it probably sounds silly, but they would pinpoint me. Because I'm thinking, and I don't have my tinfoil hat on me.
See, that's interesting, that, because maybe they're taking a certain interest in you. I mean, look how your life's come out. You're into the paranormal. You do ghost hunting. You like these kind of things.
Yes.
And maybe they've been watching you for a very long time.
I thought that when I was younger, and I never said it to anyone, thinking that they thought I was crazy. Now, probably I'm watching now and thinking that we're always right. That's okay. But then even like when we're talking about blood types, mine is completely different from my whole family. Completely different from my whole family, and the reasons are negative, which is more common now than what I thought it was. I don't know. It could be something that I thought of as a child.
Well, Dakota knows all about the negative stuff. I mean,
no.
I find that quite interesting that everybody in this field, nearly everybody, has got the same type of blood.
I know.
I find that very interesting. It's as if there's something built into us all.
Yeah. That's what it's just, I was like the odd one of the family. There's 11 of us. There's 11 of us, I think. There's 11. But I'd be like the black sheep, if I can say that. Probably.
See, I was the same.
It's not always bad. It's good, though. It's not always bad. It's good.
I think it's great. I think it's great having all this knowledge you're having about extraterrestrials and the spirit world and all that, because you don't want to just be one of these people that are like, ooh, I don't believe in an afterlife. Ooh, I don't believe in aliens. That doesn't exist.
I know.
Now you have knowledge of what's really out there.
Why is it all coming crazy now? Why the sighting in the south of Ireland? It's kind of like Independence Day, where every country has a ship coming down to them because they're getting ready to come.
Because that's exactly what's about to happen. They're getting ready to show themselves.
I mean, listen, why not?
But when you say show themselves, do you mean just show themselves in their crafts and their UFOs, or do you mean show themselves in like we would say in person?
In person.
Really?
We're going to start seeing technology come out. In fact, I actually got a word from some of my sources that we're going to be seeing some major archaeological finds out of Egypt very soon.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's right. That would be cool.
I think I heard somewhere as well. I was watching this on, oh gosh, I don't know if it was a Facebook or TikTok. I know the best media to let you know the truth, isn't it? I know, but it was like, I forget, there was a guy interviewing now. I'll have to look it up. But the interviewer is a known guy, but I forget his name. And he said, why, and I agreed with what he said. We know they're there. We can handle it. We can. Some can't. Some can. Let's go for it. Only if they're friendly, though. If they're not friendly, well, then it's a no.
See, that's the only thing that worries me. You might get the people out there that as Dakota was talking about the other night, you might get the people out there that in 2012 there was mass suicide thinking that a Mayan calendar was coming to an end. You might have the same thing. You might have these religious groups that think, oh, we all have to kill ourselves because the spaceship's coming to collect us. Look at them, they're coming now, let's all kill ourselves.
I mean, it's a lot. I think it was less informed then, and the scaremonger was out then. Now you have what we had to go through COVID and so on, and a lot of podcasts that are coming up.
Yeah.
So you get a lot more information to say, don't run, calm down. You know, you don't have that fearmonger anymore. You have realistic people who will kind of give them a little heads up or let them, you know, calm them a little bit. I know 2012 got me in a huge way.
Oh, I know.
That messed with me badly. Desperate.
I mean, I can see people's points, but what worries me is how other people react, because a lot of the movie industry portrays the aliens as bad. Right? Except for like Thor and all that. He likes his beer and what's what about
the
hammer and stuff
like Paul. I mean, wouldn't that be great? Just see the movie Paul.
Yes, I've seen that.
If they all came like him, it would be a bloody party. It would be brilliant.
Yeah, I think my only concern with that is that we look at ourselves as humans. You know, there's people, you know, causing conflict with other human beings just because of their race and their background. And if you're saying that another kind of species is going to come, how are those kind of people going to react to it? And it could cause, you know, like a war between... And that's, if this is what's meant to happen and this is all real, you know, people like we are more dangerous than what potentially they could be just because of the way the humans can be like. A lot of people are not accepting, you know, and it's hard, it's horrible because we see it every day. You know, people don't value other people because of their religion, their culture and things like that. And if we can't just value people for who they are, regardless of our backgrounds, we still have a heart that beats the same way. We still breathe air in the same way. How are they going to take a different species? And then we don't know what backup these people, you know, these species have. I know Dakota knows, and you, Chris,
I'm going to let Dakota take this one.
But me, I'll be like, you know what? I would have to hide away because I'll be too scared to. If someone makes the wrong move, it's like a game of chess. If you make the wrong move and then you're in checkmate, you're done. There's no way out of it, and that would be my concern going into something like this.
I think if that happens and there's a war with it, I know a lot of people don't like difference. They don't like change and they don't like different, which is wrong. But I tell you, if anyone's going to create the war with it, and I am going to say it, it's going to be, and I am going to say it, I'm sorry, the Americans, because they're gun happy and they're going to shoot whatever they want down because look at us, we can do it. That's who to look for. I'd be more worried about them starting the fight than the ones who would come down. Now you see, I know I'm looking at Dakota's.
Sounds just like
he's sending us
the only American in the fucking room.
They're the trouble for putting them.
Because we're all going to get into trouble. Because I'm sorry, I'm going to say Dakota. I know you're America, but there's millions other more that they're going to say, look at us, we're going to protect it, and they're going to do anything but. They're going to reverse what could have been a peaceful meeting. And, I mean, I don't know a lot about up there. I know what I know here. And I think that's, I think some of them would be more peaceful. I know you know there's really bad ones. But I feel for the peaceful ones that are kind of being targeted. If it's a whole other smoke screen and they're not coming down, and I don't know. I could
I'm
say...
going to let Dakota take this one. Dakota. Not a national man. On you go.
You wouldn't necessarily be wrong that it's the Americans, but you have to realize there have already been coordinated attacks that have been shot out. If I'm not mistaken, the origin of the attack that brought down several of Elon Musk's satellites came out of Italy, because Musk has been messing around with the ETs. It's the U.S. and the British have been found sabotaging peace efforts to end the war with Russia and Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
The situation down here is a hell of a lot more complex, but it's also widely known that the ones that would cause that problem, that would try to instigate a fight, they've already lost. They're scrambling, but as far as the whole false flag alien invasion, yes, they have measures in place just in case something comes through, but all of the ones that want to kill us are gone.
Oh.
Okay.
I see your point with the racism thing, right? I mean, obviously in the Earth we're really bad for that, right? And it shouldn't be allowed and it shouldn't happen, right? But if an alien lands and he's purple, let's just say there's an alien race landed with purple, right? We'll all probably start
You
doing
and
it with
purple
people. I know, I can't help it. I've got a thing about purple. Don't tell them. That's a special thing.
You said it several times while we were on air.
I know. I can't help it. I think it's a previous life. Honestly, I think it's a previous life. No, it's purple. Well, let's just say they're pink.
I'm thinking of,
right?
of Barbie or Teletubbies.
Aye. The human race has to grow up sooner or later. We have to grow up sooner or later. We have to stop all this pettiness and killing people just because they're a different colour. We're all exactly the same. We're just a different
I
colour.
agree with that.
Lead the
You
same.
know, and the thing is, what people are not realising, I know this sort of diverting away to what we were originally talking about, but what you're saying, Chris, the younger people, the youth, the people that we're bringing up are getting involved in it. And it's getting younger, like you're getting 16-year-olds that have been stabbed because of a stupid feud or it's race-related. It's not right. And, you know, and I will say this very openly, parents, adults, we need to set a better example for the younger people to show that it's not right going out looking for trouble, you know. And like I said, we can't deal with just being human. How would anyone deal with a different kind of species coming to the earth, you know? And we need to get ourselves right before we can accept anything else, you know, and that's what...
I think it would be a good distraction. I think it would be different. So? Yes, I do. I think it would be...
Starting trouble with something that comes out, you don't know what kind of weapons they got, don't know what
not the
their
trouble
abilities
part.
are.
But you ever watch the movie Fee?
V.
Aye, I haven't watched it.
Like V for Vendetta?
Are you talking about the
V for
1980s one?
Victory.
Are you talking about the 1980s one, the best one?
Yes,
Right.
we're not showing our age. Oh, but you two are younger. I forgot Dakota's only 27.
I'm
And
41.
oh my goodness. Oh, I'm old. I'm the oldest here. Didn't really say that. Can we edit this bit out, please? Thank you. I might just run
up to the
to
master.
But that movie, it was a series, and it was quite good. And it was called V for Victory. And they were aliens. They were coming down. They were integrated with the humans. They were even one of them was a president. But they looked like humans. But if you scratched the skin, you know, the reptilian underneath, and the only thing they ate was mice. It was quite good. It frightened the life out of me, but I was so interested in it. And when one had an alien baby and this little, and it kind of coming out of her belly, like screaming, yeah, this is from the 80s. You should watch it. You should watch it. And I love the music up to the beginning of it. I love the music of it.
Speaking about the TV series that me and Sarah watched, and it was based in a small, like, little village in the UK. I can't remember what the actual name of the TV series, but basically it was a bunch of women that something happened while they were all out, and all the women had passed out, and then they all woke up and they were pregnant. I don't know if
you're talking about Children of the Damned.
Is it Children in the Damned? And basically the children were all born on the same day.
Wow.
But as the children grew up, they had a very deep connection to the mothers where they got possessive, and they were different, and they went to a different school, and basically they would turn out to be quite dangerous to people that were quite a threat. Is that something that is real, or is that just a TV show? Can something like that really happen?
Depends.
Think about the black-eyed children reports.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look these up. Is that maybe the Children of the Damned?
The original film was in 1960 something. I'm sure it was 1960 something. It was based in the UK. I'm showing my age again here. And it was in black and white. And what it was there was a town in England, and aliens came down, and everybody fell asleep in the village.
That was
and the aliens impregnated all the women, right? And they had all these kids, and then they turned out to be. They were all basically the same. They were all like twins, kind of thing, right? And they all were connected. And in the movie, in the 1960s movie, they held up in a church, and the army blew up and killed them all in the end. But then there was a movie made in 1989, and it was Children of the Damned again, but it was in the United States, same thing. And they had special psychic powers that could make like police officers shoot themselves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's what they did. The army shot themselves and stuff. And then that's the new series that Nando was watching that started.
Yeah, so
Okay.
and it was a weird one, and it just like on the subject made me think: is that something that they have the abilities to do? And yeah, that's quite scary. But
The black-eyed kids are very interesting.
The Black
Very
movie?
interesting.
so, are the black-eyed kids? Are they more something to do with the spirit? Where I thought it was something more to, or you saying it's more to do with? Because I've read some stuff about black-eyed kids, but I've not read it as about relating to like aliens and things like that. I read it more to do with spiritual or spirits attaching themselves, and a lot of it based on demonic entities taking these children over, causing them to be the black-eyed kids. Or is that something different to what
Dakota knows more about this. Dakota knows more about this. I'll let him.
The black-eyed kids, some of the reports are actually of hybrid children that got left behind.
Oh, wow.
That got abandoned. There are adoption protocols that the Federation has in place to try to give these kids a fair chance, because some of them do have souls and they are able to take on, lives where they're not violent. They don't have all these negative connotations, but there's quite a few that have actually slipped under the radar, and to the best of my knowledge, most are cleared out, and they are given the chance to try to have a new life somewhere else, but there's also quite a few that could not be saved and were essentially euthanized.
Yeah.
Because I know there's reports of a black-eyed child being seen in the woods. I saw recently was from, I think it was from an online newspaper article, but stating that there was a sighting of what they put it down was, they think it was a girl, but black eyes, and she was spotted in the woods. So I saw that recently, but again, reading on that, they've not based it on aliens and things like that. They've based it on something totally different.
What I've read into it is that they've only got one sub-objective, right? Is to gain entry into your house or gain entry to your car, right? And it's always interested me this, because I used to listen to Coast to Coast AM, and they've always got like folk on talking about the black-eyed kids quite a lot, and that there was a specialist one, I can't remember his name, and he was talking about certain frequencies attract them, which is quite interesting, because Dakota does with the frequencies and stuff like that. But there's been people that's actually let them into their house, and they've turned around and they're just gone. But it is looking more and more and more like they are extraterrestrial. They have been sent there. They have been sent. For some reason, they do not know why. But there's actually been hardly any reports lately of black-eyed kids. Hardly any. Which is very interesting.
Collected.
Yeah.
And when did you see that, Nando? During the week?
Do you know what? It must have been over the last month. I'll have to pull it up. I'll be able to find it. But and I was reading about it, and I remember Sarah saying to me, "See anyone with black eyes? Don't let them in. Run away. You know, don't at all." Because Sarah reads, he takes it all in, and you know, but yeah, I read it recently. I have to find it, and I'll send it to everyone. Other butchers at it.
I mean, I don't think there's anybody ever that we know of that's actually been maybe kidnapped for these things. Maybe there have been, it's Ken that's actually been caught in camera and stuff like that. I mean, I don't believe they are spiritual. I used to believe that they were maybe like, demonic. That's what I always believed. Right?
That's what I believe.
And then the more and more you get into this kind of stuff, and the more and more experts that talk about this stuff. And then the black eyes, there's a lot of aliens out there that have jet black eyes. Mm-hmm. And then you think about this, and they're quite wee, and you makes you wonder if they're genetically manipulated, genetically cloned to do a certain purpose. Getting into the house, I don't know why they wanted you to do that. I don't know why they wanted to get into the house. See, people have let them into their house, and then they've turned around and they're gone. And nothing happens.
Children, and they probably will. I let no children in my house. None. Not even in, like, when my kids were kids. Like, do I let children into my house? Let alone black-eyed children.
None. I never thought what their purpose was. That's the thing. What was their purpose, Dakota? What was their purpose? Do you know?
Children, I seemed innocent. And that people will help a child quicker. You know, when you're doing investigations or you hear children and they say, we heard a little girl. And I'm like, I always say, but is it a little girl? Is it? Let's go towards this little girl and help her. And then all of a sudden, no. So I know any children will come. I'm not helping any children. I'm sorry, I'm that person. Nope, you're on your own. Yeah. You want to go help a child that's kind of looking for help? Let me know how that goes. I'm not going towards it.
I mean, I don't know what their purpose is. I mean, I've sat and I've thought about this and thought about this and thought about this. What would be the point of getting children to come to your door, to let you in, and then disappear? Dakota, do you know more?
Some have speculated it's kind of a Trojan horse, for lack of a better word. The parents or the ones that were behind the creation of these kids, they could have very well have human parents. It's that sometimes they get taken out of the mothers, and it would look like nothing more but a phantom miscarriage.
Aye.
Some of them could have been trying to look for their human parents. Others, it would be a type of Trojan horse to see if humans would be dumb enough to let these things in.
And there has been cases where humans have been dumb enough to let them in.
I think it's a whole children thing again, where an innocent child, we are going to help this child. Come on into my house. It's like the vampires. They have to be invited in.
Then I always thought vampires actually just had fucking manners.
You'll come into the house. He'd go, thank you for inviting me. Aha. You see? He would invite you. So I think the children... Huh?
Alright. I mean, I can see your point there with the vampires. You have to invite them in, right?
And
to cross the threshold.
Innocent and helpless, and let's help this little child. That's going to screw my mind up forever.
There was a story in the US, actually. I listened to this. It was on Coast to Coast AM once, and there was a case where the guy was at the gas station in America, and his wee boy was sitting in the back in his baby chair, right? And he got into the car, and there, next to the baby chair there was this wee boy sitting. And he's like, who are you? Oh, you need to take me home. You need to take me home. And he says, well, I'll take you down the road and I'll drop, there's a police station or something down the road. I'll take you there and I'll drop you off there. And he pulled out and he looked behind him and the kid was gone, which I find fascinating, because where did that kid go? How did it just disappear?
What is the purpose of doing that? I get your point now. What is the purpose? What is it? Are you here like to screw up my mind forever? Did I hallucinate? Did I see things? Was it real?
Was it real? That's the thing. See, nowadays you don't know what to believe. That is the thing. That is the problem nowadays. I mean, some of the, if you look at TikTok and some of the CGI on there is absolutely phenomenal. You can tell it's CGI, like, but I'm not saying that was CGI that the guy was putting away. I mean, that's just damn right scary. What was that little boy? I mean, it might have been a spirit. I don't know. I wasn't there. Yeah. But jet black eyes. I mean, I was listening to this on that radio show. I mean, if I had to get into a car and look behind me and there was a kid sitting there with jet black eyes, I'd be like...
Even just any sitting in your car. Who are you? Don't know. Get out.
I mean, it's...
But I think it's things like that. Things like that, you know, this child crying, help me, and you go help an innocent child who turns out not to be an innocent child, and then you have the black-eyed child. I mean, I am that grumpy old woman. I'm helping no child. I don't care if you're in front of me, drag it out my clothes, then help me, someone help me. You're on your own, kids. I'm not helping you.
One day, nothing.
Blame the media. Blame everyone who says, you know, there could be a genuine child looking for help. I'm not the one to
with jet black eyes. That's the thing. No with jet black eyes. I mean, right, say you were driving along the road. Right?
Aye.
And you see two kids, a little boy and a little girl, walking hand in hand, and you're like, I'm maybe like 5 miles to the nearest town. There's no houses, nothing run about me.
Aye.
Would you stop and help them?
Like my arse, would I? You're on your own, kids. Not doing it. No. Would you, Nando?
Dakota? Nando?
Yeah, it would, because in the cases around here where that happened, the parent was a drug addict, passed out at home, didn't even realize the kid was gone.
What happens if their eyes were jet black?
I'll be driving straight past. See you there.
This is going to sound racist, but I'm just going to say it. There's a lot of Hispanics around me. And if just the way their eyes are, they sometimes look jet black, and I'm just like, thank God there's a Catholic church right next door.
Oh, gosh. No, senorita. No.
I mean, I'm going to say something that the aliens are probably watching me now thinking, let's try this. So I would probably stop and think, what he's doing here kind of thing. Because obviously I live in Scotland, in the middle of nowhere. It's no like anywhere else. I would probably stop, but then if I did have jet black eyes, I'd be like, catch you later, dudes.
I was about to say, wasn't a sex cult arrested not too long ago near you, Chris?
Sex cult? I can't remember that. When was that?
I think it
just
was
when you were visiting Scotland.
No.
It's all coming out now. It's all coming out. It was in the area at the same time. Oh, God.
I was also in the area at the same time someone wrote the flat earth is real on that sign.
Oh, I know. Can actually drove through my village with no harm. He was in a tour bus thing, and I'm quite a popular village. It's kind of touristy for Scottish thing. And the motorway flybridge, I mean, this is a subject that really annoys me. I would love to meet one of these people because I don't know, they must have like one atom flying about inside their head. They're right above the motorway sign, the earth is flat.
Why do they say the earth is flat? What gives them reason to say in the first place that the earth is flat? Like, who came up with this?
Two guys wanting to have a bet.
I met a flat earther one day. And I says to him, why do you believe that the earth is flat? And he says, maps are flat, aren't they? And I just looked at him.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I says, yeah, it's the earth that's pulled about. And as Dakota said a couple of weeks ago when I told him about this, he says, what you want to do? Carry a globe about with you?
True. But just...
As somebody you should go on your show, Nando, Jen, a flat earther.
If we could find one?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I would have them on in a heartbeat.
We've been trying ourselves, but if they go to scope us out before the show, they know damn well they're getting made fun of.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, I wouldn't be able to take someone like that seriously. How can you justify that the earth is flat? It's just not...
Why do you think that in the first place?
Maybe if you get long enough. I mean, the UFO scene and the ghost scene's taken a while, like 60 years to get in. Get what I mean?
Longer than that.
To the point it's hitting the news. Maybe if we give it long enough, people will start believing.
Oh my gosh. Would they ever really believe that the Earth was flat?
I can see this what they're saying, right? They're saying it's flat because you can't see the curvature of the Earth, right? But what? You hear a strange sound.
Are you actually believing this bullshit?
No, just listen to me. I can see the concept here, right? They say you can't see the curvature of the Earth, right? But I've seen the curvature of the Earth, right? Up on top of a mountain, I've looked down and I've seen the curvature of the Earth. You can see it cresting round. Anybody if you look at space, the camera for space, the Earth's round, right?
Round.
And it's like people. I know people in my village, right? There's actually people in my village that believe the Earth is flat, but they don't believe in ghosts or aliens.
Get them on the show.
I've tried.
Get them on with me and that one. They don't.
Tried.
Well, if they're passionate about it and they want to prove it, then come on the show. If you're not afraid to say it, even don't come on video. Just behind the screen.
I know. I
mean, it's how you can say that the Earth is flat. That's what a lot of our shows are about. Is people talking about what they believe, and this is just another subject that would be good to get out there.
Yeah.
If the Earth is flat, explain to people that don't think it's flat, or know that it's not flat, but explain how you come to that.
I mean, I don't think I could probably keep a straight face, to be purely honest. But then
I don't think Dakota will be able to keep. I think
Dakota.
You just get them all and put Dakota on.
I mean, I find it highly funny. I've watched all these flat Earth shows, right, and I find it ridiculous because they believe that all the planets in the solar system are round, right? Let me give you what they think. This is why I think it's madness, right? Every planet in the solar system's round, right? And there's bad aliens out there coming to get us, right? But space doesn't exist. You can't escape into space because there's a dome out of it there, right? So how can there be bad aliens coming to get us if space doesn't exist and there's a dome covering the Earth? Think about it.
Air holes so we can breathe.
Maybe that's what it is.
I don't know.
Maybe what it is. Honestly, you need to get a flat earther going. I'm sure you'll be able to manage it. They probably know us now. And they're like, I'm not going there, so we'll just take
that'll be the next subject for Untold Encounters.
Listen, we're back on the 18th. Definitely. Yeah. I think that should be brought up. It'll be fun.
I'll have to do some reading on that. I don't know how serious that I could take it, though. It'll be...
But you know what? Each believe their own. Like, we get it. We understand it. Each to their own and what they believe in. Some don't believe in ghosts, but believe in God. Or spirit, should I say. Some believe the world is round, but it's flat. Some believe in aliens, some don't. It's just everyone. I'd be interested to know or to think why they think like that. It's like they think, why do we believe in spirits? Why do we believe in UFOs? Everyone has a different belief.
I can understand people not believing in aliens and spirits, and that's I can get, because some stories that you do hear are quite out there and like you don't know how true it is. Some people do, but the point of the fact that scientifically it's been proven that the Earth is round. I can't see the only reason, and I'm a big advocate. I do respect everyone's beliefs. I do respect if someone says they don't believe in the spirit, that's cool with me. If someone don't believe in things like aliens, UFO, but when it's something that's scientifically been proven that the Earth is round, that's my only problem. Like, okay, science tells us, and we've got enough evidence to show that the Earth is round. So how can someone be adamant that the Earth is flat? To me, that doesn't make sense, and that would be one scenario that I would find very hard to sort of...
Let's look for them, Nando. Let's look for them. Let's do an advertisement. Let's do a poster on the show, on our show tonight, and just say, looking for people who believe the Earth is flat. Do you want to come on the show and talk about it and why you think like that? no problem.
Yeah, we should try it, but I'd find that one very... What do you think, Dakota? You're going very quiet, you know.
I'd say try to reach out to those who organize flat Earth conferences. That'll probably be your best bet.
Oh.
Push it like an advertising opportunity.
Well, they come for this as well.
So, yeah, they have conferences for this. You know, they say they have people coming in from all over the globe to the Flat Earth Conference.
Oh, good God.
Say that again one more time.
That's what they had on their website. Because I went and I went, oh my God, we've got people all around the globe coming to a Flat Earth Conference.
All around the globe. Around is.
To be honest with you, I think it's a money-making scam. Because see the amount of see the people that created this, and a lot of the famous ones out there that created Flat Earth, a lot of them have got books out, and a lot of them are millionaires now because of the sheer amount of shit they've been selling.
I've looked them up.
Yeah.
Flat Earth Conference. I'm going to make a few mails. I'm going to do a few mails. What's it like to attend a Flat Earth convention? Why don't you come on? I'm totally accountable. Tell us. I'm going to get one of them. I've got to get one of them. I really am. I'm going to get one. I'm going to get me a Flat Earth believer.
That would be very interesting. It would be very interesting to hear what their thoughts are, and
I'll get them. I promise you. I'm like a dog with a bone with some things given to me. It's something I want to do. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure I get it. And here's me, Irish firm. Would you like to come on the show and tell us why you think the Earth is flat? And I'll give you a bag of...
Honestly, you'll probably have a nervous breakdown during that. I've seen a lot of like top what you got, can't speak there or something, YouTube podcasts doing this, and they get these people on, and like maybe like 15-20 minutes into it, the guy's just, the host of the show is just that enraged, he wants to strangle the guy because he's just that stupid. They just make up their own rules, like gravity and stuff like that. They just make up their own stuff. Nothing adds up. I mean, with the UFOs field, obviously we can see the UFOs. And we've encountered the UFOs, and folk have experienced the UFOs and aliens and stuff like that. But you've got to remember, the only way to prove that the Earth is flat is by going out there. I mean, look at that one flat earther that tried to prove that the Earth was flat by building his own rocket.
He died.
He died.
I didn't have him dying, but the fact that he built his own rocket to go up and prove it.
I think it was after his third launch that he actually ended up crashing.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
parachute didn't nail him.
Then there was that couple, I believe it was out of the UK, who wanted to sail to the ice wall to prove a flat Earth. It was out of Spain. That's right. Then they ended up like 3,000 miles off course because they didn't account for the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah.
That would have helped them. But I think the guy who built his own rocket to go see if the Earth was flat, I'm sure he knows now that it's not flat.
So, like, at least he's trying to, do something that's halfway reasonable to prove it. I'll give him that much, but...
It's madness. The Earth isn't flat, it's a globe. But that's another question I was going to ask you. What is your opinion? Nando will go this time first. In the afterlife. What do you think happens in the very end?
It's funny you said, because we were actually talking about this today. Me, my mother, and my aunt. We were actually on this conversation because my auntie believes once we are finished in the physical world, that's it. We're done. You pass. And I find that very hard. My belief is after we are finished, I like to think we get to choose, or I believe we get to choose to either stay on the earth as a spirit, or we get to go to our resting place. But there is something more out there. I don't believe that we die and that's the end of us. And the reason I say that, I'm no medium, I'm no sensitive, but I have had things happen over my years where I've had visits, and the only thing I've ever seen is family members. And in particular, one of my strongest, my grandfather, on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
And whenever he has come to me, he looks, for me, he always looks dapper, you know, the way he would dress when he was here. And that just makes me believe he's chosen to stay round just to let me know that he's still here. So I do, because every so often I smell the tobacco he used to smoke. Yeah. You know, so I do pick up his scent as well. So I do really think that we get to choose, you know, that do we stay or do we go somewhere else? But if we go somewhere else, there's a place that we reconnect with our loved ones that have passed on. You know, we rejoin them like a reunion, and we just live on, but in the spirit world. That's what I think, anyway.
Right.
Jen?
I think... I'm joking. I think, is there life after death? I would say yes, there is. And not because I'm a paranormal investigator, researcher, and so on. I've had so many proofs to me that I can't say, no, there isn't. And that is my own personal opinion. I've heard way too much. I do a lot of audio. I've seen too much. I've felt too much to say, no, there isn't. We're still looking for evidence. We have it. But I always say, how much more do we want? Like, how much more evidence do we need?
I found you did a show. You actually did a show the other night. I can't remember what show it was, Jen. But you were showing the evidence. It was that one that ran for nearly 3 and a bit hours. The one with Brian. And you showed the evidence. That evidence that you played, it was like you were in a church. It was a church, and you could hear this screaming. But that was unreal. I mean, the people in there couldn't hear that, but only when you played that back, you could hear that.
A friend of mine sent that on to me. Now, me and my team are gone up in the next few weeks. We will be going up into it.
Yeah.
Daytime. It'll be the daytime. We will take, of course, a recorder with us and just do a wee bit of a call out. Just for our own satisfaction, to see if we get anything from it. I have videos from the museum that I go to. One video from the museum that I go to. With this black, I think I showed you before, I'm not too sure, something black going across the screen. We have it in fast motion and then we have it in slow motion. That whole way, that door that we're looking at on the video, that's the only way in and the only way out. We were not there. We're not that kind of team that, stand behind the camera pretending we're not there. We wouldn't do that. I wouldn't allow it to happen. My team are not stupid. They wouldn't do any of that. And my team that I have now wasn't even there at the time. I think there was just myself and Alan in the museum. And we were all away from this particular area. Nobody's in that hallway. It's about 8 foot wide. But there's something black going across. I will send you on the video.
I've seen the video. I've seen the fast motion, and I've seen the slow one. Jen sent it over to me, and what I did, I got it up on my laptop so I can see the full image. But with the slow one, if you pause it at the right angle, just as it goes past it, you can actually see the face, like the shape of the face.
Wow.
The figure.
Let me see if I can set it on
But the funny thing is, you can't see the eyes or anything, but you can see the face of the figure. And it's quite a great piece of, of footage that Jen caught.
I'll send it on to you now and see. I'll send it on to you now. I never saw a face in it. The only thing I seen was like a humpback. Not a humpback, like someone bending over. But I didn't see a face in it. But I'm going to have a look at it.
I set it down and then I kept pausing it as it was going. And then there was one bit. I have to do it and I'll send it on to you, Jen.
I'm looking. Oh, yeah, too.
But yeah, I just believe the spirits get to choose. But the only thing I do question about spirits, and Chris, I don't know, say if someone passes on suddenly, like a car crash or, I've been reading that these spirits get stuck in that moment and they keep reliving, like residual energy, and they keep reliving that moment. Is that because that the spirit, now this is something, because like I said, I learn every day, I'm learning. Is it because these spirits haven't realised they've actually passed on. So they're just stuck repeating the same thing the last thing that they can remember. And that's why they keep going round and round in emotion, doing the same thing.
Dakota?
You have to realize then that there's actually certain individuals who have gone through, say, severe car crashes, just as an example, and then people would report that person, seeing that person reliving that event. But here's the thing. The person survived the crash. So how the hell is their spirit replaying that event?
So is that more like the stone tape effect? Is that when maybe something's embedded itself into the material round about?
Possibly. It's hard to say without reaching towards some very unmoral and ethical testing methods, i.e., where did Nando go?
Nando,
I start talking about unethical testing methods, and Nando goes to disappear. It's like, yeah, kind of something like that.
I didn't touch anything, I promise.
No, I want to go through my videos that I've sent you, Nando, and I pressed call you by mistake.
You got me panicking, Nate, because my screen just all went black, and I was like, don't do this to me now.
I was like, I was about to say, we're not going to be able to know 100% until we physically go start killing people. I was like, all right, come back as a ghost and tell us what happened.
Oh, Nando disappears. I was looking for that video, Nando, that I sent you of it. If you have,
I thought I was done for then. I was like, I think like the same curve. A lot of the stuff that we talk about, like when it comes to spirits, we're just assuming what it could be. I do agree that like we won't know for sure until our time is done and we experience what happens on the other side. But I can, based on what I've seen and what I've done research on and things like that, my belief is, there's got to be something else. If there's aliens, there's got to be something after we pass on. There's got to be something else to look forward to. I would like to think so.
It's very interesting that. Well, while you're here, Nando, can you give your YouTube channel a quick shout out while I send this to Dakota?
Yeah. So you can find us Portal to the Paranormal on YouTube. Also, as everyone else, Facebook, and we're also on TikTok as well. But yeah.
Same.
Right, thank you. I sent that to Dakota too. I don't know if you sent it.
I sent it on to Chris.
Oh, you sent it to Dakota too. That's good. Let's have a wee look at that.
No, I sent it on to you, Chris, to send on to Dakota. I can send it on to Dakota.
I'll send. There you go, Dakota. You should have the two of them that was just sent to me.
Okay, are you sending it on to Dakota now?
Yeah, I've sent both of them, yeah.
Okay, great.
Ooh, the first one's quite interesting. I sounded like that guy, no coward there. What's his name there? Ooh.
I love him, yeah. Yes, the first one is the slow down one, and it's on repeat. And the second one is the full speed.
That, as you can see it when he runs the second one and slow down, you can actually see.
It looks like a face trying to materialize, yeah.
Yeah, we thought it was something. You can put it up if you want to, or we can just keep it there. We thought it was like a monk. We never heard of a monk in the museum.
That's what it's like. It's like he's wearing a robe. He's wearing like a.
Yeah. And we never got. And then when we were doing a call out, and the last time we were there, for some reason we were getting a monk. We don't know why. Now, Aidan on my team, he was training to be a priest, so he would know a lot on that side. He would know the names to call them and the different roles that they had and so on.
Yeah.
We got some interesting things from it. Like Aidan would say a prayer in French, or Roman, or Catholic, anything like that. Okay, here. So that's the fast speed. This is the slower one. Small.
See that? It's as if it's walking.
Yeah, and I know exactly where it's going. So that door is the only door out. And on the right hand side, don't know. Now this is the Drogheda Museum Millmount, so it was a British Army fort. It was where Oliver Cromwell had come over and attacked Drogheda, and they had destroyed, the Martello Tower and so on, and the British Army Museum. Then it turned out to be a home where families would live. So we have a mixture of audio from that location, a lot of different ones. We get the same people, but then you get new people coming in that you don't know. And I'm doing that location 6 years. I remember being there 9 years ago with a different team, and my team was doing it like come up to 6 years. So 6 years. So where he's going from the left to the right, on the right hand side there is another door. You go through, and that's where all the artifacts is. So that hallway is cut off to the public. Mm-hmm. So when you walk through that hallway, you go to a door on the right hand side. When you go in that door, on your left hand, there's steps going up to a brick wall. We don't know what's behind that brick wall. Mm. We don't know what's behind it. So, and then in that room is all old artifacts that they keep swapping around the museum and so on, taking the old in and putting the new out and so on.
Yeah.
So we were trying to figure out where the steps go to in the building.
That's interesting. Now, what happens if it's come in with one of the artifacts?
It actually could. If you hear on the first video, if you can hear this click, it's like a door closing. Mm-hmm. There's like a door closing. I don't know. That's what I thought for after that. We just heard this click, never thought anything of it. But then when we listened to it years later, I think that's about 3 or 4 years old. But you can hear like the click, click, like a door is closing or opening, closing. But when you go in, so there's 3 or 4 steps going up into this arch, but it's bricked off. And it's today's bricks. It's not like stone. It's bricks. The big grey ones, little red ones, grey ones. So it's hollow as well. So there's something in there. You want to get into it.
A camera.
That's what we're thinking of doing.
Didn't you already try to get someone in trouble for doing that, Chris?
No. Somebody I know that is ready. I tried that, But what was if you had to walk? What was if you had to walk around about the the museum, like maybe an EMF meter, and maybe go to certain things that look maybe religious or that, and see if it's maybe came in with something in the museum.
Well, that's it. We could. Like,
what's in the museum? What's actually in it? Is it just military stuff?
No, there's everything in it. God, because Drogheda is one of the oldest towns. The history in it is amazing. And, there's a multitude, from army to old telephones to old, those SOS machines to, that's operated where you have 100 buttons. Everything, like tools, like real tools being found on the mound or around Drogheda. Carnes Brewery used to be in Drogheda. It was when they stamped, even the bottle topper, everything you can think of, cutlery, delf.
Did you hear that in there?
It sounded like the little, popping noise that StreamYard makes anybody that jumps in the room.
I heard that. I heard yeah.
That's what it was like.
Yeah.
I have my phone's on silent, and it's turned off anyway.
I think it is at my knee off the table. I've got a whole wrinkly knee.
I don't know what it is, but I don't think that's a monk act, it's a nun.
Do you reckon?
Aye. I don't know why I want to say that.
Aidan was going to be a priest on my team. He was going to be a priest, so he knows the whole thing. My nun, all I had in school was nuns for teachers. I had a nun as a boss, and Jesus, she was something else.
I don't know what it is, but it was mere lean forward, like a nun would. See if look. Yeah. There's a big Catholic church near me in the local town, and I go to the shops quite a lot, and I was past the nuns. And I don't know if you've noticed this with nuns, they walk really quickly. Can they bend over?
Yeah.
So what happens if it's a nun walking extremely quick?
Well, we never asked for a nun. We asked for a monk. And then Aidan, one of the team members, he came in wearing his monk robe with the cross. And so he was, calling out. And we were getting a few things. Was your name Paddy or Parf? I don't know. We're kind of coming out. I come out with these bloody names. Good Lord. Some of them I'm writing. Some of them, what the hell? Who are you calling for, Jenny? But I think his name was Patrick. Well, not too short. Typical Irish name, Patrick. Paddy or Patrick. And the names that come out with John. And, oh, good gosh. They know the roles in which each monk played. So, I don't know, the senior, monsieur, I don't know what. So there was a particular name for this monk.
I just don't know what that is. Every time I look at the replay back on my phone, it's like, it's a nun.
Really? Let me have a look at it now.
Look, just look at it.
You having some fantasies about nuns there, Chris? That's the reason why that's just coming out of you?
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. That's Sister Esmeralda. Woo!
Oh, God.
The first one we were playing normal, she's fast, isn't it?
It's a nun. I'm telling you, that's a nun.
Aye, isn't she?
It's a nun.
And you can see the silhouette behind it. It's not. It is solid black, but there's a bit of a silhouette behind it.
Aye.
And so what was on that? How that was caught? I had my GoPro. There's a window there. Now it's boarded up. This window sill is like thick. You couldn't get through it.
Right.
And that's where I had this tiny. Actually, the GoPro was sitting here. This was a GoPro. No, I haven't used it in about 7 years. I have no idea what's on it, which is why I was going to see what do I have on it. What do I have on this? But it was caught with that. And I have this years. It's a tiny little thing. I think that's upside down. And I didn't use it because it's so small, and and the screen is small, and I thought, no, I'm not using that anymore. I've never downloaded it.
You know, again, this is going to sound strange, and it's maybe my psychic powers, I don't know, right, because I don't like using them like this, but you know how nuns can like bend forward, they bend kind of forward, right, and
Dakota?
it's the way their veil goes, it's kind of bent up, you get what I'm talking about. The bit of this, I've never really studied a nun, right? The next time I'm walking past and I see them, I'm going to stand and look at them. Yes, there's the nuns. But anyway,
Jen goes worry.
The tappy, it just looks like it's folded up. How they can, I don't know what they call it. What did they call that on the nun's head?
Habit.
Like, how it's folded up. That's what it looks like.
Those nuns that's the old habit. That's what you see in horror movies. Now we are not doing that. Like in the bedroom window and you have these nuns coming up with these old habits. No. Do you know what I have in my room? I was there's an old folks home. Let me tell you what's in my bedroom. There's an old
I'm getting that in nuns, we might as well.
We might as well continue
the
on.
nuns be going for them Lucky Charms.
I'll be firing there with potatoes thrown at them. Old folks home. Huh?
He's fair. He did always right at the potatoes.
Do you like potatoes, Dakota?
Well, that's like one of the only things Idaho's known for are potatoes.
Really?
The good old big ones.
That's the only way we don't get mistaken for Iowa is that we mention potatoes. Oh, Idaho! Oh my goodness.
Really? That's my name. Nando calls me potato, and he's pasta solo. Because he's Italian and I'm Irish. Sure, to be sure. Lucky Charms. Anyway, apart from that stuff, let me tell you what's in my bedroom. There's an old folks home that was being knocked down, about 15 minutes away from me. So I said, right, let's go ahead and do a really bit of a call-out. Always passed it for many, many years, ignored it until a week or 2 weeks before it's being knocked down. So, of course, in the old folks' home, they have a little church. So, beside the skip was the tabernacles. Is that what they're called, the tabernacles? Where they keep the wine and the holy bread. Yeah, I have it in my bedroom with the chalice. And
I've never been in a Catholic. I had that once I was at a funeral that lasted forever. I thought it was never going to get out.
Oh my God, that's terrible. That's really terrible. But you know that gold box they have on the wall and they keep the wine and the holy bread and all of that into it? In it?
Yeah.
The weight of a safe. You'd do damage to your foot. I don't think you'd ever get it back if it dropped on your foot. But you can see where it's bent, where the builders just kind of took it out of the wall and was throwing it away. And I'm thinking, that'll come home with me. And the chalice with the lid on it. And it's really lovely. It's kind of engraved.
You don't keep it.
It's in my bedroom when I have a cross hanging on it. And then I have I've got a cross that's upside down that's hanging on it too. That's really bad, you know. I know. And I just threw them there because I didn't have anywhere else to put them. So I might actually put it down here because it's quite...
What is it, Dakota?
I was like, is the cat okay? It looks like he's having a seizure.
Oh, he has a disability.
Oh, all right. Just thought I'd ask.
He has a disability.
A disability cat? I didn't think that was such a thing.
He does. He has a thing called cerebellar hypoplasia. I know, it's a bit of a word. We call it CH for short. The cerebellum in the brain. Well, the cerebellum in the brain that grows, that when you grow, it grows and controls your motor skills, your movement. His mum, he had a virus when he was only a tiny baby. He was thrown into a garden. Of course, I get the phone call to come pick him up. And, Toby, you okay? Hello? Toby? Oh, no, he's okay.
All right.
No, he's okay. He's warm. The fire's lit. Toto, you okay? You okay?
Oh, God.
Oh, bloody hell.
Oh, God, your cat's possessed. Quick, summon an exorcist. That's weird that film was on last night, The Exorcist.
Was it on?
It was on.
No, he has a disability.
Please, they can tell you.
Yeah, I'm just asking, make sure the kitty's okay.
Oh, he is. He's just having a moment. So he walked like he's permanently drunk. Aggressive. He walks like he's permanently drunk. Toby, you okay? Okay, he's okay.
All right.
Oh.
He's good. He's all right. But he's a bit of a temper.
You were saying about this magical box that you got your hands on.
Yeah, so it's in my room. I have it a few years, about 3 years, I think. And I have the chalice with it as well, with the lid on it as well. I've often wanted to drink wine from it, but I thought, Jennifer, you're passionate. Don't drink wine from the chalice that came from a church. And God knows what you drank from it. So, yes, I took that home and it's in my bedroom. But I might bring it down here, actually, because it's pretty nice. It's heavy, though. It's really heavy, like a safe. But there's bread inside it. Bread that was there from before. That's inside it as well.
I'm a bit off benuble it now.
I didn't try it though. Didn't try it.
Is that real? What is that? I've always wondered that because I went to a funeral once, but I'm no Catholic, so we didn't get up and go to the front and I seen everybody getting the bread, and I always wondered, what is that? Is it like a wee biscuit or something? Or what is that?
It's a wafer.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you learn something new every day. I think that was the longest funeral I've ever been in my life. 15 hymns in it. That was terrible.
That's terrible.
I was crawling. I couldn't get away.
Yeah. Oh my God! I went to my daughter's confirmation. I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks, something like that. I think it was over an hour. It was over an hour, and I stood in the church, because I always talk about religion and paranormal, and I stood in the church, and let me tell you, I haven't worn heels in 3 years, and I'm a heel whore. I love my heels. And there's a heel break at the front of the church. And I'm like, okay, I won't talk about religion again. But yeah, so we had to, I was sitting there, me and my twin were sitting super glue in the church, and her hand got stuck to the shoe. Thank God we were sitting in the back of the church. But her hand got stuck to the shoe. I had to pull the shoe off her. My foot almost got stuck to the bench thing, whatever you call it. It was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. You can tell that you go to church quite a lot with the way you described the thing.
I don't even go on Christmas Day. I really don't. I say happy birthday, Jesus. I don't. I just say happy birthday, Jesus, and I don't go. And you know, I am Catholic. I don't preach. Yeah. I don't practice. But I am. Is that hypocritical of me to say, Nando? Nando says nothing when I do that. See, I use that about religion in my house. But I don't go to church unless I have to. But actually, I'm
the same.
Actually, I
do
the
same.
Go. Well, I would go to church, but only when, like Nando, when I was on the phone to Nando and I took him into St. Peter's Church, sometimes I'll go in and sit down for 15 minutes on my own for some peace. Sit down for some peace, and that's that, you know. Probably for 15 minutes, light a few candles, and then, you know, I'm done. But I don't go to mass.
Yeah. I'm usually the same. I only go when I really need to go to the church. Like the only times I've really been in church has been funerals. I don't go to church.
What about weddings?
Smoke starts coming off me.
I was going to say, do you feel burning?
I've been at one wedding. I've been to 2 weddings, and every one was in a register office.
Oh, really?
So there you go. Yeah.
Hey.
Well, that's surely romantic.
Well, I got married in a registry.
That's young folk are into that kind of hang. I mean,
I got married in a
Nando,
registry
what
office.
about you?
But
What, with churches? Last time I went to church, it was a funeral. It's like I do believe in, like, I'm Catholic, and I do believe in all that stuff, but I just think the only problem with going to church, I don't like people telling me what I should. The one thing that put me off with the Catholic Church, if I'm honest, and I don't usually talk about religion, but I will with this. When me and Sarah got married, when me and Sarah were in the process of getting married, with the Catholic Church, you got to go and see the priest, discuss why you want to get married. And the original priest that was meant to marry us, he caused a big issue. He didn't want to marry us in the end because of the fact that we had kids already prior to getting married. Now, I understand religion, but one thing I do say, religion has to move with time. Times change, things happen. And the one thing I would never, ever, in the Catholic Bible, it says it's a sin to have children before marriage. But to me, that's not a sin. I brought my kids into this earth. I love my kids. I'm a parent 24 hours a day. A sin to me is a person that has a child and doesn't want anything to do with that child. And that was my only letdown that I felt from the church was, you're telling me what I've done's wrong when I'm there every day for my child, every day. And it just put me off a little bit, so I don't tend to go to church anymore and, preach it or, do what I used to do. Because we used to go to church every Sunday. But from that moment, and the priest really, of course, we had to go and see the Monsignor of the church, like the higher, to justify why we should be allowed to get married.
See, that was my...
But that was my only letdown with the Catholic Church. And I understand religion, but again, religion has to move on. When TVs are putting on there about, people having children every day, not married, whatever, you got to understand, people change with time, don't they? Like, everything changes.
Yes.
But I think sometimes they're stuck in the past and they haven't moved forward with how time actually is now. Because a lot of people these days, they can't afford the big wedding. They can't afford to get married.
No, but I got married in a registry office. Sorry, I got married in a registry office, and I didn't get married in a church simply because I don't do priests at all. I mean, I was lucky I even got my children christened by a bloody priest. And this is my opinion now. It's not, thrown out there as my opinion. If a priest asks me those questions, I'll say, don't half of you have feckin' children already yourself? Okay? Half of you have children already. You shouldn't have them, but you do have them. This whole thing, it boils my crap even getting red in the face with it. When they wouldn't marry you and Sarah Nando because you have children, and half these priests have children they shouldn't have, please, let's not do that. That's why a priest would not have me in a room with him for 2 minutes. I remember when I went over to the church with a collie pup that I had and had to get a birth certificate for my daughter. And my collie, I'd say he was only about, 4 months of age, 5 months. He was gung-ho for the one woman. Another woman came in, she was fine. This dog actually was aggressive with another boy as well. Nobody else, just this one boy that he wanted to get this boy. This boy was a nice chap, but my dog knew something. But this whole thing with the church, I got married in a registry office. 15 minutes, job done, glass of wine, you'd have it longer. In, out, let's not be sitting about, let's go to the pub. Oh, married now.
We had to do quite a bit to get married in church. We even had to go to marriage class. And the funny thing that got me with this was there was one session that we went to, and the lady started talking about, you know, when you, I don't know how to say it, become intimate, you know, the intimacy in that.
Yeah.
And they go round asking questions, and they come to me, and I'm like, I'm very open. And I was like, yeah, we got 3 kids, you know, and the look that we got was like, we're the worst people in the room. And I'm like, is this really... And that's what's put me off. And if that's one thing I would say that's put me off about the church was that experience itself. Because it's like we were judged before they actually knew, you know. And like I've said before, it's more of a sin. Someone killing someone, that's a sin. Someone, you know, there's a lot worse out there. But then they focus on something like us having kids before we got married. It doesn't change the reason why we want to get married. We were in love with each other. Well, we are in love with each other, sorry. Let me say, we were. You know, that was the reason. And that's what should count. We're getting married because we love each other and we want to spend the rest of our lives together. Not all this...
Could you imagine me? I got married when I was 8 months pregnant, and boy, was I big. Could you imagine me in a white dress in a church? I would do it just for the priest. To wear a white dress, I was big. I was 8 months pregnant. And I was walking down like a virginal bride. It's just God's father.
I will say this about the difference between the two churches, like the Christian church, and then you've got the Catholic church. Because I go over the Ghost Squad Scotland, and I go to a lot of like chapels and stuff.
Right.
The Church of Scotland and stuff, the normal Christian churches, they're basically the same, right? They all look the same. But when you go into you get into the Catholic Church, it's absolutely outstanding. You see the architecture, the gold, and everything is just, you're like, there was one I was at the other day. They've not actually put the video up yet, and there was a normal chapel for just the normal Christians, and then there was the Catholic one. And I went into the normal one, and it was just like benign. There was just like places to sit, pews to sit, stuff like that, and that was really it. But I walked into the next one, and I was like, my God, the place was beautiful. See the architectural stone, the candles. I was like, it was actually My Lady of the Divinity or something like that. It was called the church, and it was absolutely one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen in my entire life. It was outstandingly beautiful, and I always wondered why it's different, you know?
I don't know. I tell you, when I was in town and I had Nando on video call, and I said, come on, I'll take you into St. Peter's Church. Beautiful church in my town. And you'd have to walk up a flight of steps to it, and it's stunning inside, Nando. Remember I showed you St. Oliver Plunkett's head? His real head is there. He was hung, drawn and quartered in the UK because he was teaching religion. So he was teaching religion to children in school and Catholic and whatnot, and he came back home to Ireland. And then the English came over, took him back, hung, drawn and quartered him. And because of religion, I'll not say any more than that. And then so in the church, then I was in video call with Nando, and I showed him his real head is there, and the door that he was imprisoned behind. It's there. I have pictures of it. I'll send them on to you.
It was beautiful. It was like a museum in the church.
I know, right?
They had quite a bit in there, but
stunning.
The Catholic churches are amazing, like the way they're built, the insides.
On my daughter's confirmation day, I have never seen anything like this before. This is probably why they look stunning. So the basket for money comes around, and I'm like, okay, I moved it along. I didn't put anything into it. I'm not miserable, just not doing it on my daughter's confirmation day. So this basket comes around like this, like handled with a red net. And where are we going fishing? Are we going hunting? What are we doing? What's this basket for? They were collecting money under confirmation. And me and my twin looked at each other, and Vicky goes, what do I do? And I said, give it to me. Next. That's probably why it's so nice. I sound anti-Catholic, but I'm not.
I will say this, that going back onto the alien thing, because we've not got long left before the end of the show, but I will go back to the alien thing. The Pope did say that he would recognise any extraterrestrials that came. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
I've not heard of that.
You've never heard
I
of
said
that?
that belief in UFOs does not interfere with belief of religion.
Yeah.
Ah, I've never heard that.
Which is quite interesting. It's quite
Sure is.
interesting because, well, obviously, because we were talking about Rosalind Chapel, me and Dakota last night, and that's got a lot of like ties to the church and stuff like that. See, the Catholic Church in Rome has got one of the biggest underground storage areas in the world, where they keep all these strange artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
Where they think that the Ark of the Covenant might even be there. You know what I mean? Because that's what they did. They like to collect things. And it makes you wonder, do they have something that was old, but not from this world? Why would they say something like that, you know?
Yeah.
See where I'm going? But see, the Catholics have got their own telescope, which I find quite interesting.
They have their own what?
Telescope in the...
They have their
Did
own
you not know that?
observatory in
Their
the
own...
Vatican.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Conveniently named Lucifer.
Oh,
Are you
wow.
kidding me?
I know. No, did you not get
Really?
that?
No, I didn't know that. I really did not know that. And
Going to look that up?
I will definitely look that up because
That's...
I was not. I didn't even. I
See,
wasn't even
they
aware
know more than...
the Pope had mentioned about about aliens.
Oh,
so
that was a long time ago. I think that was a while ago.
That was back in 2012
That was a
when
way
that started
mentioned
stuff
that.
coming out.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely look that up.
Was that
They
not
have a
just
lot-
after they visited Antarctica? Was that not just after they visited Antarctica?
Possibly,
It
but
was.
not
They
even the
didn't know
Pope
that. The Pope
realizes
went
how
to
many
Antarctica.
secret
Why did you go there?
several world leaders did.
Good question. Why did Buzz Aldrin go back there?
Why did he go?
Exactly.
I'm just going to say
Why?
that's
that's a
fascinating.
plot twist.
There's a lot of truths
That is
and
very-
things. There's a lot of hidden things. And it's the same as we were talking about the Knights Templars and stuff like that, and how they were all murdered by the Catholic Church and that, how they murdered them all, because the Knights Templars were like protectors of certain relics, right? And I honestly think I would love to get into the books below that.
God,
I would love to get in there. Can you imagine the knowledge that they have locked away?
They know so much more. And I was asked a question before. We were asked a question before. What is the one place in this world that you could investigate? What would it be? Where would it be? And of course, a lot of people gave their opinions on where they would. Mine, and they said, oh my God, really? Would be the Vatican. Give me the key. I'll close the door. I promise I'll look up and turn the lights off when I'm finished. Let me into it. Let me, give me the Allen key that opens every door. I promise I will turn the heating off, turn the lights off, and lock the door behind me. Let me into it. They have too much. They have too much
That's something
in there.
you should maybe think about getting on your show, is somebody talking about this kind of stuff. And Rome itself, if you look at it from the air down, it looks like a giant puzzle. There's something no right. It's like Rosalind Chapel. Rosalind Chapel's one ginormous puzzle, whereas Vatican itself built is a giant puzzle.
I'm on a show on the
Maybe they all mean
24th.
something.
I'm on the show on the 24th of March, and the host is a reverend. I know Nando's face. I know. But he's a reverend. Oh, let me tell you. They'll be who's interviewing who here?
Is this guy American or is he British?
He's American. And I have asked him questions before. He is a paranormal investigator as well.
Yeah.
And I have asked him
That's
questions
very
before.
interesting.
I'm so looking forward to it. Like, proper looking forward to it. I am.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, see, I've always been fascinated with the exorcism side of things in the Catholic Church and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've been fascinated with it because it makes you wonder the records they have. Because there was the exorcism. There was that one, and it just shows you, I wonder what records go back at all these exorcisms that they've had, and what the
There is a new
outcomes
movie
were.
coming out.
Yeah.
There is a new movie coming out. I forget the name of it.
With Russell Crowe.
Yes.
I seen that. That's weird. I seen that the day advertised. That's so weird to do.
I mean, that would be definitely one to watch. I would go to the cinema. Normally I sit and wait for it to come on the TV, you know, I get it on Paramount, whatever. I am going to the cinema. Recliners, you know, popcorn, and just sit in the front row to watch this. A lot of, it's true. I think it's based on some true story. Some of it is.
Based on his personal journals.
That's going to be an amazing movie.
The Exorcist. I mean, what was your thoughts on the movie The Exorcist? The first one.
Oh my gosh.
Is that
probably
the thing then, the original movie?
The very
first
first one. Yeah, the very first one.
Yeah.
The guy with the priest doing his running, his exercise, and he gets a phone call and he goes out and says, "We need you to help the other kind of head priest to help him with the exorcism."
There's a few lines in that movie I still use to this day. Lines that probably can't be said.
It's something that I wouldn't really want to witness in real life. I think Dakota's actually experienced stuff like that. But I wouldn't. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could witness something like that.
No,
I think
you can't.
You need to. I think you need to be a special type of person to
do
have that.
Yeah, you got to be very strong-minded and very
strong,
resilient to what you're going to experience. And I don't think that's something. Anything to do with things like that, I will try and avoid. Like even when we're doing. Like our investigations, you know, if people wanted to look at darker side, that's not for me. Like the things with the Ouija board, you know, that's my.
I've never touched one.
Yeah, that's my. That's not. I'll observe, but I will not get involved. I don't even ask questions. You know, I think there's a certain line that you do not cross when you're doing investigations or research. It's not worth it. You know. It might be made up stuff. The Ouija board might not be real, but I've heard stories, and you know, and for me personally, that's the line that I will not cross, and I will not want to experience. So, I'm out of it.
Same here. Same.
I mean, Dakota knows a lot about the exorcism stuff and that. And Dakota, what's your thoughts on that?
You wouldn't be able to handle it.
Oh, try it.
Exactly. I wouldn't be able to handle it. And that's why I wouldn't stay with it. That's that.
You ever watch somebody be burned from the inside?
No.
Watch their entire body be covered in blisters as they're literally being set on fire from the inner.
Well, that's a big no.
And what was that meant to achieve? Like that's part of an exorcism.
That was the demon trying to kill it before we could help the person.
Wow, that's okay. I'm sorry I asked now. No.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's something that I don't ever want to witness in my life.
No.
Like,
absolutely not.
I think that's you're treading into darker grounds there, and like I said, you need to be very experienced in understanding what's going on, and that could. You know, mentally, that can affect someone in a very bad way. Yeah, I think that area is a no-go for me. It is like that's something I wouldn't.
Totally out of my depth.
Yeah, out of my depth with that one. Yeah.
Me too. I like to investigate, research for curiosity and for my own self. And for people sometimes, but that bit, that's someone else's forte. That is not my forte to do that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I
don't know about you guys. Can you hear a weird tone tonight? I keep getting weird. That tightness? What's it called? Tetanus? What's that called? I keep getting it in my ears.
Oh, yeah.
I keep getting that tonight. I've been getting that all night, only when I've been on here.
Really?
It's constant. It starts at this one. And then it starts at this one, and then it starts at this one, and it's all night, ever since 10 o'clock tonight, exactly.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And it's just weird. It's just really, really strong. And as soon as I take the headphones off, it goes away. Take it.
Could it be
on.
the headphones?
No.
Could it be a wiring and the headphones?
Possibly.
I'm going to try and fix my time.
It's gone.
Mm.
It's gone now, but it's like it slowly comes back again. I don't know. I don't know. I can feel something tonight. I don't know if something's going on tonight or there's some weird energy. But
Not watching.
Nando. Dakota, did you not find a special video or something in Nando's house or something like that? I'm sure you had something selected for that.
No.
I'm thinking like, huh?
Don't get me started.
I thought he got a video and he was going to do a video or something. I don't know where he's put it. But, yeah. So, when's your next shows, guys?
We are back on the 18th.
Yeah, so Untold Encounters, we're on the 18th.
Yeah.
And then our separate shows as well. I've got one Tuesday with the Kinsella twins. And the topic is UFOs. You know, we'll be talking about
I'll be watching then.
Yeah.
I like the old UFO subject.
You know, and they've done some amazing books as well. So we're going to be talking about that. And then Untold Encounters. You know, we're just putting the show together about what the subject's going to be, and based on tonight's conversation, you know, that there could be some stuff that we can bring up. Maybe have a open conversation about the darker stuff, about what people believe. You know, and see what people's thoughts are.
The dark side of paranormal.
Yeah, so
I tend to stay away from that kind of stuff, but Dakota's your man for that because he can get deep.
I think having a chat about one thing, like, I'm happy to have a chat about it, but actually doing it, that's a no-no for me.
No.
But it'll be interesting to see what other people's thoughts are when it's talking about the dark side of the paranormal.
Yeah, has anything happened to them? And you know, I'd like to talk about sleep paralysis as well, because it's my daughter, she's 12, and she said, Mom, that happened to me. And I'm thinking, do I really need to take out my flipper? Do I need to go find this MF in my daughter's room? And I'm like, well, you're awake? Are you sure you were awake? Asking all the questions. And she goes, Mom, I was awake. I just couldn't move. And I'm thinking, who am I beating up today? Where is he? Where are they? Who am I beating up today? Like, because they say someone's sitting on you. And I don't know, there's a man in my house. And that's fine. That is okay. He did get his warnings. Do not go near my children. Do not go near my animals. I have 4 dogs and 5 cats. Do you think they can sense anything? My big dogs sometimes, they sleep in between bedrooms, you know, and sometimes they sleep in the hallway, which is not like them. They all sleep in my room. So, you know, sleep paralysis, anything that's really scary that people have, I can hear that too. Can anyone hear it? It's like an interference.
It's weird. It's just there's a weird interference tonight. I don't know what it is.
I can hear it on this side.
I can hear something buzzing. You know what it sounds like? Remember the old computer games where it makes all the...
It's connecting?
Aye.
Oh, it's sort of going now.
That's what it's like. I've turned my phone onto flight mode thinking it was that, and it's not.
Did it stop and turn it on flight mode?
Ages ago. No, it's been on flight mode. It's been on flight mode for a while now.
Okay.
Ever since it enters that, and then I just went back to the flight. Dakota, are you detecting anything or anything? You picking up anything weird on your end?
When you started talking about exorcisms and the Vatican.
Okay, on that note, I'm done now. If that's
I'll
see you guys later.
Time for me. Right, well, I would like to say, Beatty, thank you for coming on. Honestly,
Thank you.
Yes, if there's any evil spirits about, please don't haunt me. I'm sure Jen and Nando would have you over for tea and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Brilliant.
So, Jen, could you tell everybody where they can find you and all your stuff? And then you go, Nando, after that.
Oh, you can find me on Emerald Isle Paranormal Researchers Facebook. You can find me on Shadow Whispers in the Night podcast on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok, Emerald Isle Paranormal Researchers, Instagram, Shadow Whispers in the Night, and Twitter, Emerald Isle Paranormal Researchers. Oh, I'm broadening.
You're broadening your curtain's starting to move there, but sell.
Don't say that. That's my chair beside it.
It was moving.
I think because I moved my chair. Let me see. I'll spin around.
No.
It's no spiritual. You know. Nando, what?
Well, Portal to the Paranormal. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Quite surprisingly, yet again, Jenny didn't mention it, but me and Jenny also have our own separate page called Untold Encounters, Your Untold Experiences. So you can find us on Facebook. I'm actually in the process of setting up a YouTube channel for it. Thanks, Jen, for supporting the page. Absolutely brilliant, darling. Love you. And yeah, we will be back on the 18th of March with another show.
9 o'clock.
Go up. Quite exciting. So yeah, and that's where you can find us.
Yep, I'll be watching. So, thank you very much for coming on. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and we'll talk to you.
We definitely will. Thank you for having us. Thanks, Chris.
You.
Thanks for
for coming on.
Later, dudes.